of Twigs and Rigs. My name is Jacob Golpoli, joined as always by,
Zach.
and we have another special guest. Well, same special guest. We
Same
just
guest.
finished recording a video. If you want to give a little introduction again.
Yeah, it's still me. I'm the other Jacob. Hi. Now we get to talk about other stuff that isn't, the All-Star game, and I'm excited to yell about how bad my
Yes,
team
sir.
is.
That isn't the pandering to Toronto.
Hate Toronto.
So
Uh,
we'll throw it to Zach for the agenda, and I'll let him kick it
I
off.
just want to start because since it's like it was the big news post World Juniors. Something that was very unexpected, I'd say. Well, everyone didn't expect it. Cutter Gauthier to Anaheim for Jamie Drysdale and a second. Jacob, I'll let you go since you watch the Flyers more than me.
Right. So I work for them, so I'm gonna stepping on eggshells. What I can say, what I can't. But all I'll say is got a call from Zach mid game, and he said, "Hey, um, the Flyers just made a crazy trade? Are you at the game right now?" And I'm like, yeah. What happened?" He's like, "So Cutter Gauthier just got traded for Jamie Drysdale," and I was like, "No way." And I'm like, I'm standing like, so the fans are like above me, and I'm sitting like down right at glass level, and the fans are like right here, and that's where their feet are, like that's where they're sitting. And as soon as I hung up the phone with Zach, I hear Cutter Gauthier got traded. Whoa, screw Cutter Gauthier. Wait, he didn't want to play in Philly, and then like, and you know how just like
That's Philly.
special, we'll say, Philly fans are. You know, they most of those people probably don't even know Cutter Gauthier. Most of them couldn't even pronounce Gauthier, and they thought they could have an opinion on it. But I digress. It was a crazy big trade, and it's an
Rover.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because I am a huge fan of Jamie Drysdale. I mean, I was literally going to get his jersey in Anaheim, even though I really wanted Zegers. There's a few Carlson. There's a few guys I wanted, but now I don't have to make a choice. I can just buy his Flyers jersey now. So pretty happy about that.
With your
And
discount.
he's going to be great. He's going to be great. I think if he's a rover, like you're saying, and he gets to actually show, he's genuinely, and I think Zach can agree with me on this, and Jacob, you may as well. He's at his peak, he's going to be a top 10 skater in the entire league. Like
Yeah,
he
that's
could
pretty
even
fair.
crest like closer. Like he's an unbelievable skater, great offensive IQ. He gets bigger, he gets stronger. This kid's going to be the star defenseman of the Philadelphia Flyers. And I
They
think
need
people
it.
just didn't recognize that at exactly a right-handed shot as well. I just don't think the Flyers fans really thought it through when they started reacting to it. They were just more upset that Gauthier didn't want to play there. But I think this is going to be a great trade, and I'm excited to see Jamie Drysdale
Let
pop
me
off.
let me see something because I know I sent you something that Torts said about him. I'm trying to find it. That
Are you finding the Rover
Yeah,
thing?
okay, no. He said Torts' plan with Drysdale is getting him involved offensively and take their time with his defense, which I feel like you don't usually hear that with Torts, especially with the way most of his
No,
teams play. But he has praised the hell out of Jamie Drysdale ever since he's been there. He's because
as it
I've
should.
never seen Torts be that excited about any player ever. Which is weird
Absolutely,
because
absolutely.
that's a player you think wouldn't fit the Torts mold. And obviously, Cutter Gauthier is going to be. I think he's going to be awesome. That they can just stack a big line of Cutter, Leo, and McTavish together,
Or Terry.
or Terry. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
They when the trade dropped, the cool thing about it was like I don't think anyone really saw it coming. Like there was rumors that like Gauthier wasn't super happy in Philly around the because he didn't show up to the prospect camp and all that. But like when it happened, a lot of people were just like caught off guard. But Torts has really helped make I think Flyers fans embrace the trade a bit more because when you look at Drysdale's thing, he played 8 games last year. He played 10 with the Ducks this year. He got hurt. He kind of like if you just look at that, you're going, we gave up our best prospect. Well, not Michkov for this, really.
For an injury, for a guy who's had injury problems.
And but like when his last full healthy season, he had 32 points in 81 games. He looked really good. He's a great skater. You put him on a good team with a good power play unit, he will put up points. He will be what you need. And if you really needed a right-handed defenseman, he's perfect for that.
Right-handed defensemen are also such a premium.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And especially
another
giving
thing.
up a guy who didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's going on about how Anaheim won this because they have guys to replace Drysdale, but like I think Philly really made the most of a shitty situation. That like,
Oh,
can
absolutely.
you imagine it if they waited till the offseason and they got like
Oh.
just a second, or they got like nothing really of value?
The other rumor was that they asked about Bowen Byram, which I think he hasn't had a good year. I will say he has not had the year people thought he was. People thought he was going to break out this year, you know. And he's also a guy with injury problems, more than Drysdale, because his are more concussion related.
It makes sense because he kind of fits the same mold as Drysdale, where you're trying to buy low on a player. The only thing was I couldn't see Colorado doing that. No. All of the Byram trades you hear about are for player for player, not getting a guy
Lindholm
until next season. So
like a Lindholm or
exactly.
Please. But it's really good. Who's Drysdale been playing with mostly? I think it's been what?
So
Walker, right?
he's been with Sanheim. He's been in Sanheim. They have putting him with York is a huge mistake because they just get bullied around. And Sean, they've been putting him with lefties, and the only one that really I think would stick for as good of his skill level is because you can't put him with Sealer because then you're really burying Sanheim, or you're really burying York. So you have to put him with Sanheim. You can't put him with York because of the size. But one thing I want to say about that is one of the biggest issues with Jamie Drysdale in his draft -1 as well as his draft year was his size. He was a big critique of him was he was not big enough. I firsthand have seen these Flyers players under Torts' conditioning, because if you do not condition enough, you're not going to be able to play on a Torts system. These guys are built like animals. And I get to see both teams. I get to see both teams, like guys, like obviously warming up or whatever. So you can see like how big they are or whatever. They are monstrous. The Flyers are monstrous. And if Jamie Drysdale gets the kind of conditioning that these guys are getting and builds that kind of muscle, that's disgustingly dangerous. That's going to be lethal. And if he shows up next season with just like tree trunk arms, like he's going to be disgusting.
And then imagine Michkov with that too.
Right. Yes. And as well, they have 2 first-round picks this year. They have a first-round pick next year and a very stacked, very stacked
forward
2025 draft. And now they got this pick, which I think a lot of people overlook how good the 2025 draft is. They're going to get a solid player out of that 2025 draft. Anybody who's got a pick in that first 3 rounds is going to get a good player.
Higgins, Misa, McQueen.
All those guys from Sweden in 2025.
And even this draft, like it's a balanced draft this year. I mean, if Philly somehow falls out, there's a guy that fits them very well. Doubt they get him because he's going to go really high. Caden Lindstrom.
Yep.
He's a guy that would very much fit the mold of a Flyer.
Would be kind of funny though, because I mean, I don't know what sparked it, but about a week ago, 3 different people came out saying, "Yeah, we got Demidov as like the 4th best EU player." Could you imagine
Central Scouting?
Could you imagine if they ended up with him and Michkov? That would be disgusting.
Oh my gosh!
I love
the cool thing about that is, the cool thing, at least from my opinion, the way I think this draft is going to go, at least, this is a crazy heavy defenseman draft. Like the defensemen in this draft are going to be fantastic players. So what? And the Flyers do not need them at all. Do not. I think the only real team that's going to rival them when it comes to only picking forwards is going to be Columbus, because they don't need a defensive prospect whatsoever.
They have so many.
I think that exactly. So I think that the Flyers with 2 first-round picks are going to get 2 really solid forwards, because they're just going to be some of the best ones, because teams are just going to drop. They're going to take defensemen, and that's going to leave some great forwards on the board for the Flyers, no matter where they pick.
You could also just trade down with a defensive needy team.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, the Flyers would be like, "Hey, we're going to get this guy. Anybody want to trade? Anybody want to make a trade?" Yeah. And then you move down and build assets. Like it's really a good. I love
what Breer's done. I really do.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah,
he's been fantastic.
And hats off to Flyers management. That was the right hire. because I'm not going to talk about Chuck Fletcher. But
Right,
it's
no.
very much the right hire. And again, Cutter Gauthier, he's going to be a good player. I really do feel like he's going to be really good. He's more of a goal scorer than a point guy, obviously. I don't like that people are sending him death threats. I'm not surprised because it's Philly.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I mean
Obviously,
that's
we
kind
know
of
That's
Philly.
probably why he wanted out. It's probably
Yeah.
why he wanted out.
We don't
I
know the reason
really
why he
blame
wanted
him.
out. The only thing we know is that's like apparently multiple things.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter why. It's already
True.
over. It's not like he's asked for the trade and you're in the. It's done. He's not on your team.
Yeah.
Showing up to his games in college with a bunch of like posters and shirts that have him as a donkey. Like, just move on, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy you got Drysdale. Enjoy that you've made half of hockey Twitter upset because their uwu man is now not on their team. Just it's done. Enjoy your team.
The other thing about this is this also did spark some Zegers rumors, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could trust it because it's Drager. But I'd say it's more interesting, and Cervali. It's more interesting than not. I don't know. A lot of teams could use a Trevor Zegers.
Yeah. I'm looking more at the Ducks. When you've got Gauthier, when you've got Carlson, when you've got McTavish, when you've got Terry, maybe moving him kind of like cements you're going forward with this core.
They also have Sasha Pastujov.
They got a lot of good players and good prospects, but if you trade him and you get a haul, and then you end up with Celebrini this year, second overall,
or Yzerman, or
I've
seen Yzerman falling as well. So
I think
because they're all just saying
he's
one. They're all just saying he's one-dimensional.
I mean, he is, but he's really good at the one dimension. So, like, especially because it's the dimension that matters in scoring. So, like, who cares?
Like, God, they also have an identity there with those forwards, big and score, big scoring guys. Zegers does not fit that.
Yeah. I mean,
one thing that I think would be interesting is that you got to look at their whole team. Their team as a whole, right? As you said, they have big names: McTavish, Gauthier, Carlson, Zegras, and they've got some good players on the back end. Like
Fowler,
they have Zellweger going to come up, Minchikov, Lacombe, Luneau, and a few other guys, right? And then they have Dostal in net. Exactly. So their future's pretty good. And the thing you got to think about is money. Are they going to have enough to pay all these guys? Are they going to take a look into the future and be like, hey, when these guys all pop off, we're not going to have enough to pay. So we're going to move Zegras now while he's still got high trade value. You know what I mean? Because like if they have to if they just end up losing a lot of these guys for nothing because it comes to a point where they have to re-sign, they don't have enough money. And you've seen plenty of deals where teams just take really low,
weaponizing their cap space.
Exactly. And they take really low returns in order just to get rid of it. I think Zegers could be on the block for that reason.
Yeah.
They're looking way into the future.
For sure.
That would be my thought.
Especially because he didn't sign that long-term deal. He got, 3 years at like six something?
$4 million.
Yeah.
$4 million. Very movable. Very movable.
He's 2 years left after this. That's exactly when McTavish is going to need to get paid.
Yeah.
It's when Carlson's going to get
exactly.
So it makes sense if you move him now. Works good.
There's something I'm looking for. I'm trying to think. Did Anaheim draft a goalie this year? I feel like they did.
They did.
Damian Clara.
Oh, who did they
Clara?
Yes. The attempt.
Clara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey. But no, Dostal's their future. Dostal's very much the guy for the future. Yeah. I really like Lucas Dostal. He's had a rough stretch, but at the same time, that team sucks. So there's no beating around it. I mean,
and also like rookie goalies. What are you saying?
Do they really? And I don't really know. Like the only guy that can really sell off is like Rico. That's really it. Yeah. Well, that's really it.
You may as well keep him though. I'm like unless you get like a really good offer, but from what I've been seeing, him and Monahan are going to get like a second.
I've seen that.
Prospect.
I saw that. I saw that today, like from the Daily Faceoff article that it was like Monahan to Colorado for
some random dude,
Kovalenov.
It's just
he's good. No, he is good. In a second, it's like that's a bit much for Monahan. That's all right.
So what the other Jacob said though, if you look at the other rookie goalies who are going on, like Levi struggled, Wallstedt came for one game, gave up 7 goals, Askarov's still not up.
To be fair, I will say that about Wallstedt. That Minnesota team sucks.
Oh, that Minnesota team, but so does Anaheim. Rookie
Yeah.
goalies just have it hard. Look at
And-
Soderblom
Yeah.
in Chicago. He looked really good in Rockford. Not good in
Yeah.
Chicago.
It's like
exactly.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so mental.
it's
It's
like
a lot of
quadruple
mental.
A stuff.
You know what I mean? Like,
hmm I mean, Joseph Woll didn't
Yeah,
break into the
it's-
league until he was 25, and he's been talked about in Toronto for like the last 4 years. It's just how it
Yeah.
happens. So I'm not going to write him off.
Me neither.
it's a rite of passage almost.
No, me neither. I really
It's
like
very-
Dostal. I really do. The other guy who he was like clashing with when he was still in Liga was Justice Anunen, and he hasn't even been up really.
Oh, the Colorado one, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen off a little bit,
Mhm.
but I mean, again, it's so hard. That transition from
Goalies are voodoo.
playing kids your age to playing a man is not an easy transition.
Goalies are voodoo.
Mhm.
That's
And it's also like you're playing in the most important league in the world. You're a young guy. You're supposed to basically be the backstopper of the best fully grown men in the
Mhm.
entire world in front of thousands and thousands of people, where you have so
Mhm.
many eyes on you, not just in the stadium.
Yep.
Outside, you're literally put on blast for every mistake that you do. You are
Mhm.
the most volatile sport. You're in the most volatile position in the entire sport. Sometimes, even in all of sports, I think you could
It's
really get
that-
scrutinized
it's-
for
it's
taking a
goalie-
tough,
maybe
rough goalie
quarterbacks
stretch. You
in
know
the
what I
yeah,
mean?
NFL.
goalie and quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I'd say one of at least. And for you to be a young guy to come in and have to
Mhm.
deal with that, like, and that's another thing is like when you're a goalie, right? It's a lot different from the way I
Mhm.
think about it. Like, as a quarterback, if they're not doing well, there's a lot of different aspects that could come into play.
Defense.
Like maybe
Your
you're
line
making the right
sucks.
throws,
Your
the
receivers are dropping
quarterback
the
or
ball.
the
yeah.
Or
wide
your
receiver's
defense
not
is
catching
bailing
it.
you out.
Exactly. Your line's not
Mhm.
blocking. Right. Line's not blocking for you, whatever. As a goalie, that's an isolated
Exactly.
issue a lot of times. And with that pressure and you let in a bad goal or something, you get in your own head.
Mhm.
It's difficult. That's why the best goalies
Very good
are
mentally.
like
Mhm.
a lot older. They're a lot more mentally
Yeah, you
mature.
can even look
that's
at.
what
I
I
mean,
think
like
at
you
least.
work for the Flyers. A Gray One's Hart. He came up, played so well, and then he
Exactly,
just dipped, and he got dogpiled so hard.
Mhm.
Spencer Knight's
Yes.
another one. His
Yes.
first year was good, and he just hasn't been able to recapture it
Yeah.
for like 2-3 years now. And
Well, he's back in the AHL because
yeah, people are so quick though to just throw them away, and it's like
Yeah.
they're
It's
still
waves.
they're still
Absolutely.
young, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Another thing
Right.
that Elvis Merzlikins requested a trade.
Yeah, no,
I
He's
it's
older
very-
and shit, so that's not the same thing.
He's had a good year. What the hell?
Has he? I thought he was.
Yeah.
Elvis, I went out of Columbus after one shootout win.
I
Merzlikins.
do think it's pretty fair though, because he's been the third goalie
No.
for a bit now, which is really weird to me. Because I
Yeah,
know they
that's
want to see
true.
what they have. Look at Tarasov's numbers; they ain't good. Spencer Martin is Spencer Martin. If you want to see what you actually have in your young guys, start Jet Greaves. Like, and I know it's a small sample size for Greaves. Let me pull up his numbers.
Oh,
He looked good. He looked
Tarasov
good.
is terrible.
Yeah, I thought Tarasov would be really good.
875. God, send him back down.
875.
Martin's also in the
Oh, that's
800s.
brutal.
so.
I mean, I don't know what they expect
That's
from Martin. He
rough.
was Vancouver's backup last year. That's stupid, but
Yeah,
I mean,
Martin has an 887.
to be fair to Elvis, I didn't know he had a 906. So like, you
Yeah.
actually could get something.
His goal save books of expected numbers are also pretty good.
Yeah,
But I don't really know who's out there to trade him. I don't think they would trade him in division because
I
Carolina
think the
needs
one
a
that
goalie,
makes
New
the most
Jersey needs
sense
a
might be
goalie.
Edmonton. I
I
mean,
mean,
I
yeah,
don't know.
their backup is their backup is
Edmonton.
Calvin Pickard.
I just like who.
Edmonton's so funny. They just keep rotating goalies, and they're like, "Oh, it's the goalie's fault. Definitely
okay.
not the
I
team
mean,
around them."
Skinner.
No, let's bring in decent goalies.
Skinner's been
and-
much better as of late.
There's
Numbers
another
really
good
good.
young goalie who
I just think
started
that's
bad and
always
got
just
really
so
good.
funny
Though, but
to me.
Skinner had like the worst 10-game stretch of his
Yeah.
career, and now he's great.
And now
for
he's
20.
back. Yeah. Like and they still have like Olivier Rodrigue, by the way. Side note.
Yeah,
Good-
he's in the minors, but
goalie.
he's losing starts to Campbell.
Who sucks? I feel bad for the guy. I really do.
Yeah, it's tough with Mers. I don't know who. Like
It's hard. It's also hard to take him on because his cap,
Sure.
because cap number.
That's
like,
true.
What
Yeah,
5.9,
Definitely.
something like that.
You're taking a real
5.4 till
risk if you take him
26-27.
Like teams that could use him. I don't know if they trade him in division. New Jersey,
26,
Yeah.
27.
New Jersey, Carolina.
Carolina. I don't know if they move him in division.
Yeah.
Buffalo, if they want to make a desperate.
Ottawa, maybe, but like then you'd have to give them back Corpusalo, and I just don't see it.
There's another team I was thinking of. Actually, Detroit.
Yeah, but Detroit's got so many goalies. Who cares?
Yeah, but they all suck except Alex Lyon, apparently.
Let's go Lion. But in the West, it's difficult. Like
Calgary's LA needs a goalie because Copley's out for the year, and
I mean, I guess
you're relying on Big Save Dave.
Yeah, would be really funny though for them in back-to-back years to trade for Columbus's starter.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. Like the only other team could be like Seattle.
Yeah, but
and just to
because your backup's on LTIR now, right?
Yeah. Gruber's on LTIR. They have the cap space now. I know it'd be weird if he comes back off LTIR, and then what do you do?
Yeah, you make moves after though.
It's a whole mess.
Yeah, if you want to make the playoffs, they kind of have to do something.
And I'm not the biggest. I like Driegs, but like as a backup on a contender.
No.
Like yeah.
Not
exactly. Well, it's also that's really it. I mean, Toronto, if they ever have the cap space.
Yeah.
It's a really weird, and Jake Allen's also available, and so is Jacob Markstrom, and so is John Gibson.
Although apparently Calgary's not going to trade anyone now because they're too close to the playoffs.
God damn it! My dream.
I forget who it was. Somebody said that like they're not making the trades, and it's not Conroy's call. It's the owners.
All right, Sean Walker, you're a Dallas Star now.
Let's go.
But yeah.
Maybe they'll literally move him tomorrow, and they'll just like swap jerseys, like right there.
Actually, apparently Chikrin's also available now too.
Yeah, I don't know what Ottawa's doing there.
That was quick.
Well, apparently Chikrin's camp has soured hometown stuff has soured, and now they're like, I don't want to be a Senator for long term.
I mean, they are third last in the league, so.
I thought Sens fans told me they'd compete this year.
Dude, they're 12 points behind the Sabers, and the Sabers suck. What the hell happened in Ottawa?
DJ Smith, and also apparently they look worse under their new coach.
God.
I'm sorry, I didn't think it could get much worse than DJ Smith. I was wrong.
In comes Jacques Martin.
Woo! We're bringing back the old guard, guys. We're gonna bring back Alfie as well. Let's go.
He's an assistant. They chanted fire Alfie last night.
No way!
Yeah.
His numbers retired there.
Yeah, I forget who it was. It's the other Jacob. So it's the third Jacob.
I know.
Sheet League
the Sens
tweeted that to anyone who was chanting fire Alfie never come back to the stadium.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You can't do that to a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'll let you rant about your Sabers now since you brought them up.
They suck. Fire the coach.
There's three coaches that I could actually see getting fired soon. Yeah. Todd McClellan, since they're in a huge rut.
Yeah, what are they? They're like 9 straight losses or something.
And I could use it since I've got Byfield in Dynasty. Granato. I liked Granato. I thought he did much better.
I think after last year, it's shown that he's a really good developmental coach. He might be a great assistant coach, but when things go wrong, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
the lines have changed every game, even after a win, and that doesn't work. And I don't know if he's committed to the older players, but like every stat in the world is showing Eric Johnson's like the worst defenseman on this team, and he's getting the third most.
Oh, right. I was thinking,
and it's like, what are you doing? I also can't blame him too much though, because like the GM didn't get him any help. He kind of expected Levi to be a good goalie at 22, which is stupid, and he expected everyone who had a career year last year to repeat it.
And UPL is not good.
Yeah, it's just been disappointing. Also, the power play is like 28th, and the PK is like 24th, and it's like,
yeah, I think I saw that. I think the Flyers have the worst power play right now in the league, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, it's a comedy of errors. If you fired the coach and you fired the assistants and you got a better power play in there, they might finish the year well. Like they're only technically 7 points out. Same amount of games played as Tampa.
Who do you want them to hire?
Right now, I had no idea.
Like, because the good coaches that are out there literally got fired this year.
Yeah,
and Woodcroft and Evison.
Yeah, I might just bring up the AHL coach for the rest of the year.
Isn't Rochester good?
Yeah,
because they also still have Kulich. They also still have Isaac Rosen. You have no Ostlund. I think is still like a few years away, but he's gonna be nasty. And
he's
gonna
be
nasty.
Savoy's in fucking Medicine Hat now or whatever.
No, he's not. He's in. No, he moved Moose Jaw.
I knew it was an M. It's one of the stupid ones.
Yeah, he's with Jaeger and Fergus and
Fergus
Matejchuk.
That's a great team.
That's disgusting. But yeah, it's
they got to do something. Either go get a goalie and send Levi down, or like fire somebody because you can't keep spinning your wheels just kind of praying.
But, that's how you end up in mediocrity.
Exactly.
And it's so weird because they have good prospects.
They got great prospects that they refuse to trade, and we got a lot of young talent that they refuse to give game time to.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. It's really annoying as a fan because you just watch the same shit happen every game, and it's like, why is X player on the PK? He's not even covering his man in front of the net. Or why is our 37-year-old captain on the power play? He can't shoot a puck.
Me with Yanni Hakanpää on the PK. Actually, he's a really good penalty killer.
Yeah, at least
which is probably still why he has a job.
I don't know how many times I've watched a penalty kill and Eric Johnson hasn't tied up the guy in front, and I'm just like, dude, that's your one job. Just put a stick.
Oh no, he's still on the PK. I'm looking at daily faceoff. Yeah, he's still on the first PK.
But yeah, at least we're not Columbus because I don't know how they're worse with that much talent.
Well, Pascal Vincent. I'm sorry, David Yurchek's been really good. Why do you scratch him?
He was. I mean, I haven't watched many Columbus games. When he came to Philly, he was getting diced up by like
that's the thing.
Sean Couturier.
The thing is his skating issues.
And Sean Couturier, Sean Couturier is probably one of the worst open ice players I have ever seen. And when you get diced up by Sean Couturier, you need to take a hard look.
It's his skating issues. He's good everywhere else, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also doesn't help they have like 7 defensemen making $2 million
body
or more. Goodbranson, Anderson, Werenski, Provorov, Peak, Bean, Bachfist.
And they still have Svozil and Koolmans.
And Jiricek is their 8th, and Blankenberg's their 9th.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Blankenberg.
Dude, you just have too many defensemen there. Move one of them. What are you doing?
You can't move Goodbranson.
No, you're stuck with him. But, like, move Bachfist or Peak. Why is one playing 15 games and the other 17? It's stupid.
Apparently, like I've heard from Columbus.
That's what I feel like the Sabers. I feel like that's what the Sabres are going to have an issue with center-wise in a few years.
They're going to do something stupid this offseason and move like Middlestat and Rosen for a guy who's not as good as either of them.
They're going to move him for like Philip Gustafsson.
Oh, if they do that. Well, no, I would.
That's not terrible. That could be worse.
I'm thinking of Gustafsson last year.
I only thought of Gustafsson because like Wallstedt's probably coming up soon. So
they might keep Gustafsson though as the backup because what's his face?
Well, then Saros.
Probably too.
Yeah, like I would take Gustafsson of last year when he was a 931, not the 898 he is this year.
Yeah, well, also that team sucks.
Would you take a current Saros?
I mean, Saros should bounce back, but I know he's been terrible.
Well, Saros is literally the mold of what Levi's supposed to be.
923, 925, 915, 914, 927, 918, 919, and 900 this year. I'm gonna bank on the first 7 years that he can at least bounce back.
Yeah, exactly.
Gustafsson's done it once, so that's a little more
iffy. Yeah, exactly. It's really, I don't know. It's been, I'd say this in general, it's been a really like weird year in the NHL where it's like, I would say scoring's up again. I mean, that's year at this point, right?
I forget who posted. I think it was Sportsnet. It might have been TSN, but they were like they showing the average save percentage in the league. It was like 5 years ago it was 912, and then it was 910. This year it's like 904 is like an average goalie. And so it's like if you're getting like 905 from your backup, you're kind of happy.
That's just mid.
That's why if you want to rate goalies now, you kind of have to look at like the goal saved above expected. But unfortunately,
I need to. People, a lot of people don't take that seriously because analytics.
And B, it's not the easiest thing to find on the internet.
Money puck, baby. Woo!
Yeah, but
I do need to mention this because I hate these. I do not like one of these teams because they annoy the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find it. You know what I'm about to bring up, I'm assuming.
I think so.
Just guess. I'm trying to find it.
What you're gonna bring up next? Are you gonna bring up Colorado?
No, PDO.
Oh, Vancouver and Winnipeg?
Yeah.
But they're first in the league, Zach. You have to love them.
Yeah, obviously.
Why is Boston third? What the fuck?
There it is. Yeah. So Vancouver, I will say this about Vancouver. Their PDO, historic high.
Mhm.
And they still haven't fallen off, which is crazy to me. If you don't know, PDO is save percentage plus shooting percentage, right?
Yeah.
I will say this. I did bring it up. Some Jets fan responded to me. He was like, "Hey, it's pretty good if if the pucks are going in the net, you're saving it." But it's like some of those are lucky bounces.
I mean, the hard thing with PDO is that like it's good when it's high and it's bad when it's low. But like, no fan's gonna look at the team and be like, "Gosh, I wish we were worse." I mean, of course, they're happy it's happening, but come playoff time, it's can it keep going?
Like I'll say this: Colorado, one of the better teams, one of the best teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They're fit. They're exactly at 15th in PDO. Well, that's obvious. Well, that makes sense because Georgiev
is terrible.
Yes. And then obviously the bottom of the league is the bottom of the league. It's San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina actually is 20th best PDO in the league. Wow.
That makes sense too. I know Carolina fans, their issues with Brendan Moore is that they take a ton of shots, but they're always low danger.
Yeah.
So their shooting percentages are never super high.
But I don't know. I like PDO as a good measurement for luck.
Yeah, how lucky are you getting? I mean,
I feel like it is very determined on lucky bounces.
Yeah, but I mean, hockey's one of the most lucky sports in that aspect.
Detroit is 4th in PDO. Arizona's 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 2 wild card teams probably at the end of the year. At the end of the year.
Well, and it makes sense. You look at some of Arizona's players, and it's like Lawson Krause is shooting like 16%, and Michael Carcone is also shooting absurd numbers compared to his career average.
And you're getting Connor Ingram.
Yeah, it's
And Montreal, who they're out of it. I'd say they're 9th.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, Pittsburgh's 8th. So, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the thing with PDO is that it should stabilize after a while, but every year we always look at players and we're like, how did he shoot 25%? It just
Andrei Kuzmenko
last year, and look at this year, but Vancouver's still rolling really high with it because other people have picked it up. So I'm not going to write off any team for having a high one, but I'm going to look at them more skeptically because playoffs,
I've been very skeptical of Winnipeg basically the whole year. It's not even just because PDO. It's the Rick Bonus system. How far can you actually get with it?
Yeah.
Because, here's the thing. Rick Bonus system, you turtle in the third if you have the lead. I've seen it multiple times. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I've complained about it for years. I don't know how far you can get with it. And plus, Nick Ehlers doesn't get a lot of ice time, even though he's one of your best forwards. And you're giving that ice time to guys like Vlad Nemesnikov, Morgan Barron. By the way, not to diss Nemesnikov. He's actually having a pretty good year. But that's a player I know he loves. He did that shit with the ice time to Dennis Gurianov. And I know Gurianov he's not that good of a player now. After his 20-goal season, it's so weird with Bonus. Vancouver, I mean, they're fun. So I'm not going to rag on them. Yeah. But it annoys me because people criticize Vancouver's high PDO when they just ignore Winnipeg's.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it all as the same thing, You can't pick and choose which one to hate because you don't like a team. If Toronto was first, I wouldn't look at them any different than Winnipeg being first.
And I feel like you wouldn't look at them differently because they're frauds at the end of the day.
True. I would just say that the refs are giving them more power plays because fuck the Leafs. But,
Also, Keefe's probably on the hot seat. I'd assume he is.
I don't want him to get fired because I like watching them fail, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Also, Jacob, if you want to rant about the Pens, if there's really anything.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta leave in 4 minutes, so we gotta wrap it up soon if that's good with you guys. Rant. But yeah, so real quick, Penguins beginning of the year train wreck. And that's actually one thing I want to hit on real quick. So first, yes, the Penguins were terrible in the beginning of the. Also, ironic wearing a Flyers hat. People don't know I work for them, so get a lot of stuff. But I love the hat. It's
Beanies.
really good look. But um, the Penguins they were great in a little bit of a stretch. But one thing I think that really gets overlooked is how good they are 5-on-5. They're quite literally only winning games 5-on-5. Power play's been a train wreck. I think Erik Karlsson, as much as I love the addition of him, his style really just doesn't fit the Penguins' power play. He's more flow, and the Penguins should be more shot heavy with the players that they have. They don't really have the. I wouldn't say they obviously have the talent. Another thing is too many cooks in the kitchen. They all want to give each other the puck, and then when they all want to give each other the puck, then none of them wants to shoot. And then there's days where they all want to shoot and nobody wants to pass, and they take bad shots. It's too many cooks in the kitchen, and that's why Letang was so good, because when you give it up to Letang, he cycled it to another person who wanted the puck. Right? He wasn't really like Carlson had a mind of his own to do his own thing. Right? They all do their own thing, which. Like, yeah, they're 3 Hall of Famers on your power play, right? Like, but they're all doing different things, and that's why hockey is just like, it's not like basketball where, you know, like LeBron James can just take over and just go, you know, get his bucket, right? It's a team game, and no matter how many Hall of Famers you have on that roster, you're going to have to work together as a cohesive unit, right? And they just haven't been doing that. Hopefully, and I hate to say this, we might have to take Karlsson off power. Or a weird thing I thought would be interesting was put him at the bumper and then put Letang back up top. Because Karlsson is one of the most creative players in the league, to the point where if he touches the puck, he can redirect it to a pass. He can get off a hard shot. He can do everything. And at a bumper position, that's elite. If you could do that at a bumper position, that could turn into something dangerous. But I think he just makes too many bad plays, too many turnovers to really be trusted at the point, especially when you have Evgeny Malkin as your other defenseman on the power play. That's why they let up so many shorthanded points, is because the two of them are just a train wreck defensively. And you can't have that, because if one cycles down, the other one cycles up to the point, like you're leaving them vulnerable.
You might as well
you're leaving it vulnerable. So you put Letang back
Graves
there
as the other defenseman, because with how trigger happy he is.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, right. So idea, but I think he would do really well there, and put Letang back up top. Also, another quick thing about Gensel. I love Gensel. I love Gensel. And another thing, Zach, I think that you'll understand when I say this, is he's a connector player. And Jacob, I'm not sure a connector player, like I don't know if I'm the only one, or I say it differently, but it's someone who can do a little bit of everything. Jake Gensel can grind.
That's what you say about Perot.
Perot, exactly. He can shoot at an efficient level. He can pass at an efficient level. He's not a god at any specific thing, but anything you throw at him, he can handle to a good enough level. And also, that's why connector players are so good at playing with superstars like Sidney Crosby's, because they can do a little bit of everything, no matter right. No matter what you need them to do, they can do it. They might not be fantastic at it, but they can do it. Point is, Jake Gensel, he right now is our highest trade bait. We, as the Pittsburgh Penguins, do not have a lot of future. I will admit that. Our future is very bleak right now. The last opportunity, right, exactly. And Pickering should have been Brad Lambert, but I'm not going into that. The last piece that we have to get some sort of stability for the future is Jake Gensel. And I love Jake Gensel. He's been fantastic. He was a huge part of our runs. He was a huge part of the playoffs. He's Sidney Crosby's little puppy. Like, he's a fantastic player and a fantastic human being. He's been great for the city. But at the end of the day, it's a business, right? And you look at that, we're like the second oldest roster in the entire league. All the other guys are under contracts. No one's going to take on Brian Russ' contract. No one's going to take on like a Ricard Raquel contract. You get a fresh slate with Jake Gensel. He's a young guy. He's a fantastic guy. Put up a lot of points. And another thing is, as a connector player, they need to be playing with superstar caliber players. When Crosby leaves, if we sign Gensel to some crazy contract, he is not going to be able to put up the numbers
he's not
that
taking
he needs
over
to.
for them.
Exactly. He's not the kind of player that can take over. So it's going to hurt them in the future. And it burns me to say.
Unless you get Gavin, unless you luck into McKenna.
Exactly, right. That too. But it's like it's so difficult because you got to
Mm.
separate the business from the person. You know what I mean? So
Of course, yeah.
Gensel could literally fetch with certain teams. He could
with what
literally get a first,
what
a great prospect, and maybe another pick.
yeah, that's pretty much
Mhm.
what the demand is.
Mhm.
Right. And that would, it's not going to save the future of the Penguins. I mean, that's going to take a few
It
years, but
helps.
it could
Yeah.
stabilize it at least somewhat, give it a bit of stabilization so we don't end up like
Yeah.
the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah,
Right?
especially
Or-
considering
like-
worst case scenario.
or the
you-
mid 2010s.
Imagine you keep
Right.
him
So
and then
yeah.
you don't trade him and then you lose him for free because you don't re-sign him either.
That's the worst part of
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the only thing I can see, and I don't think it's going to happen, which sucks, is his trade value will still be decent until Sidney Crosby retires.
Mhm.
So with that being said, if they did a bridge deal until Crosby retires, but I
They
don't see that
won't.
happen
Yeah.
because as soon as Crosby retires, you could flip Gensel because he'll still be at a decent enough age where he'll fetch a high
Yeah.
price. So it's like you could do that, but
Mhm.
the timing of his contract right now really, really sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
It really sucks because you're gonna have to give him a lot of
Mhm.
money unless you sign him really cheap, like 2 years. I don't know.
2 years.
I don't even know
8
what it
mil.
would be, but
Mhm.
right. Either way, you're gonna have to pay him at some point, even if it's short term, long
Mm-hmm.
term. We don't have the assets for that. It sucks, but he's got to go simply from the business side. As a player, as a person, you never ever want to take that guy away from Pittsburgh. You never want to take him out of anywhere. He's a fantastic human being and a
Mhm.
player.
Mhm.
Got to separate the business from the person.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll leave off on. The Penguins, they look good right now. They're getting better. That power play clicks. They could genuinely be a top team in the entire league. And I think people are overlooking that because they literally went like 0 for 35 on the power play.
Yeah.
You convert on like, I don't know, like 7 of those, we win games. You know what I mean? Like it's been brutal. And I think if they get that power play together, it's easier said than done, right? Their 5-on-5 play has been electric.
Mhm.
5-on-5 was an electric. Their goaltending, Nedeljkovic and Jari have been 1A, 1B. They've been fantastic. They had that little stretch where they let up 5 goals in each of the last 4 games, but then they got back on their horse. Jari just got a shutout. Like they've been great. And I think that if they just keep it going, get the power play is just the biggest issue because every time we get a power play, I'm like, the other team is happy. The other team is happy we just got this power play. They just got 2 free minutes off the clock.
Especially if it's like
Because that's all they
Philly
did.
Dallas.
Or a shorthanded breakaway chance. That's
Yeah.
what we just gave them by getting this power play. I genuinely don't even want to watch the power play sometimes. I get frustrated. So that's where I stand on that. They get the power play going, they'll be a playoff team. They'll be a solid playoff team that'll give people fits. But easier said than done, like I said. I do have to run though, boys, because we do have hockey and I gotta get ready.
Yeah, no worries.
We gotta leave in like 15 minutes. But thank you guys all for watching. Jacob, it's been a pleasure having you
Thank
on.
you.
Definitely gotta hop on another time
For sure. I love this. Yeah.
And yeah. And Zach, again, thank you as always for pushing to do the streams. I need to do these. I need to do these more. And if without Zach, I would never get him.
We
done.
also gotta
So
get the
huge props
draft
to
guide
Zach.
going soon. Next
Exactly.
month. Month.
I'm only waiting on that. Right. I'm only waiting on that because you got to wait for the film. You got to wait for the stats. There's a lot of stuff you got to wait for because we could go ham on the top players right now, but then we're just kind of stopping and then we're waiting.
Yeah.
I like to keep it going. So I'd rather just wait until there's enough film on at least 3 to 4 rounds of guys until we start pushing for that. Because that's what I found last year. I was even finding guys who didn't even get drafted. I was finding film when it came to the summertime, a little bit before the draft. So we'll definitely get that going. I'm excited to do that with Zach. Zach's a great scouting mind. So it's gonna be a good draft guide this year. I think there's a lot more ideas I can do with this one this year now that I'm having the help of Zach. And it's gonna be a great product. So I'm excited to start to get that going soon. And yeah, so thank you guys all for watching, and we will see you guys in the next.